How's it going, everyone? Today we'll be doing factory design pattern. So what is it? Why should we use it? And then a little tip on memorizing it, because these things don't really stick in your brain much. So let's get started. Okay, so factory design pattern, it's under the creational design pattern. So there's different categories. This is for creating objects, if you can remember that. And it's also known as the factory method pattern. So those are synonymous terms. All right, so it helps in creating objects by deferring the creation or instantiation of the object to a factory method. So let's get into an example, because that probably doesn't make sense. All right, so here's a small example. So let's say we're creating a ski report app. I love skiing and snowboarding. I want to know what my local mountain or local ski resort's snow is like, so I can know if I want to go this weekend or not. So how do we apply this to the factory pattern example? Okay, so I'm here on the iPad. I've drawn out the UML diagram for this ski report app. And you see here at the top, we have ski conditions. This is going to be our interface, okay? So in Java or other languages, we can have an interface, which doesn't have any implementation methods, right? It just has the stub methods. It needs classes to implement those stubbed definitions, right? All right. So hopefully that makes sense so far. So we have ski conditions here, and then we have these three classes that implement the ski conditions interface. So they provide their own implementation of get snow report. So we have Utah ski conditions get snow report. We have Colorado get ski report or snow report, and then we have Vermont. So right now I just have three objects that implement the ski conditions. And then over here in red, we have ski conditions factory. So this is where the magic of the factory pattern comes in. We have a factory that figures out which object it needs to return back for this get ski conditions method. All right, so then we have our main method, which we can call the client, or maybe it's my app or whatever it is. My app doesn't instantiate these classes directly. It instantiates just a ski conditions factory, or it will also use a static method to instantiate this, and then I will just call this get ski conditions method here that will return me a specific condition based on my location of where I'm at. All right, so a lot of circles there. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. Okay, so I'm over here in IntelliJ with the factory method example here. So you just saw from the UML diagram that we have this ski conditions interface. All right, so I've defined it here. And then I have a number of implementing classes, right? So I have a Utah ski report that implements the ski conditions interface, because remember, interfaces only have the stub method. I need to override that method and provide specific implementation for that method for my class. So the Utah ski report is going to have this Utah ski report. And I've hard-coded all these things just for examples for now. And then I have a Colorado ski report and then a Vermont ski report. So these are my three boxes, if you remember from the iPad diagram. And these all have specific implementations, right? Different ski reports depending on which state that you're in. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so then the special part of this pattern, right, is to create this factory. So I have this ski report factory. Maybe I need to rename this actually to ski conditions factory, but we'll leave it there for now. And I've created a static method here that takes in the lat and long. So this is latitude, longitude. So let's say I am on my phone and I share my location. This app will go through here and get the nearest state and then return the specific ski report for that state. So let's say I'm in Colorado. I pass in the lat and long of where I'm at. It gets the nearest state. This state would equal Colorado in this case, and then I would return the specific Colorado ski report here. And I just have those three implementing classes here, and then I throw an exception if I can't find one. And then to get the nearest state, I'm not doing anything complex here. I just hard-coded Colorado for now, just for the example. So this is where the magic happens, right? So this is what is creating the objects for us. We're not in our main class. Maybe I should have showed this earlier. This is the client, so maybe it's my app on my phone, but I need to get the nearest ski resorts or ski report. I have to pass in the latitude and longitude, but I don't want my client having to know what state and what implementing classes there are. I just want a class as kind of a middle person to figure out where the nearest ski resort is and give me the report, right? So that's all I really care about. I just care about the ski conditions, and I just care about getting the snow report. So this is all I care about. This is all the client should care about. It shouldn't need to know about any of these things. So that's why the factory is so helpful in this case, because the factory has all the logic and complexity to give me back what I need, what the client needs. So it's a nice abstraction there. All right, so I have latitude and longitude. I'm going to pass it in here to this ski factory. I'm going to get the nearest ski report, and that returns me back, remember, this interface here. But it's actually going to be an implementing class that I'm going to get back. Okay, so if I run this guy, okay, then I should get back Colorado ski report, 8 inches of snow in the last 24 hours. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so why would I use it? I touched on it a little bit. So it really helps separate the jobs or concerns in your application. So different classes are responsible for doing one specific thing, right? So a client code, like I mentioned, likely just wants to know what object or interface type it should that it wants, right? So it just wants that ski conditions, and it wants that method. It wants to be able to call get ski report. It shouldn't have to know the specifics of the subclass to instantiate, right? So what it really helps you do is let the factory method figure out that complexity for you. Okay? So how do we memorize this? So we want to be able to put this in our long-term memory. So you can think of the factory pattern. Think of it as a real factory. It creates things, right? So it's under the creational pattern. So whenever you're wanting to create an object, you can think about using the factory pattern. If and when you have multiple similar types. So think of the ski report example. I have multiple ski resorts or ski reports, and I have that one interface, ski conditions. But there's a lot of different reports that I create. Those are different objects. So the factory pattern works really well in that situation. Yeah, hopefully that makes sense. Let me know if it does not. And hopefully you're able to memorize this and use it going forward. Thanks.